You can unmute him. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Screen. I'm your host, Jason Azevedo. I am so honored to have a good friend, and I keep calling you legendary comic book artist, Ken Lashley,
God.
with us today.
I'll take it, but I know it's not true, but I'll take it.
I just to preface the whole thing, we decided we were going to mute the channel for the week between Tuesday after last night's session and then between next Monday session, and in solidarity, but thought it was important also to give voices to those that have voices to be told and stories to told and experiences to be shared. And a bit of history. I won't do any of the announcements that we typically do. We've also just done subscriber-only chat just to cut down on some of the noise, just so the messages are heard nice and clear. But just as some background, for Ken and I, Ken is a really great friend of mine. How long have we known each other, Ken? Some 20, 22 years? Something like that. At 18 years old, I was super into comic books and wanted to get in the comic book industry. And I was watching Space TV, which was a Canadian network here in Canada, and wanted to get into the comic books. Found out that there's a studio doing incredible things in Toronto, not far from where I live, and called up the studio, found the number, and Ken answered, and I had seen only his name really, really quickly, but it said Ben. I said, "Is Ben Lashley there?" And he's like, Ken, "You mean Ken? Ben's not here, but Ken's here." And I just said I wanted to get in the industry, asked him some questions, and he said, "Well, why don't you come by the studio for a visit?" I came in. I expected to be there maybe half hour. I was there, I don't know, hours. I remember that first day. Just watching you draw, and then that turned into a number of years together, not only in the comic book and toy space, and me kind of learning alongside and all of that, and then not only that, but also then into the video game space where we worked together on a number of mobile games and things. So long relationship, and I mean I've said this before on stream and in these sorts of episodes that I wouldn't be where I am creatively without Ken Lashley, and I say that, no, but it is, dude. You started that train, and you helped me to kind of stay on track. And one incredibly important thing I think that I take out of our relationship over the last number of years is that, as an 18, 19-year-old Portuguese kid from Mississauga, who obviously didn't deal with a lot of racism in my youth because of the color of my skin, me learning what it meant to you over all those years, and you sharing the stories of your mom and your dad and coming up, and you were the lens for which I saw, I'm getting a little teary, you were the lens for which I saw that world for kind of the first time, really, and somebody who was just really raw about their experiences. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to ask you about that experience. We have, like I said, about 45 minutes of great time. We usually take questions and stuff. We're not going to be doing that today. Just to kind of share, where you started and what it's like. First of all, for those who have possibly been living under rocks, this is a D&D channel typically. Today we're taking a bit of a right turn out of that, even though you've done Dungeons and Dragons work before. You've done design work for what was it for specifically?
I don't know. It's like I have a couple of books here, style guide stuff. It's been so long, but I'm working on Blizzard Entertainment right now, so to speak of it. I don't want to. I'm doing some card stuff. I'll leave that alone.
Excuse me.
I'm doing some. One of the things I'm working on Hearthstone. I'm working on Hearthstone with Blizzard. So I did. They're right over here. Did some card stuff, some illustration stuff. It's right here. But I've been very fortunate, man, being able to work on some cool stuff. I don't know, just bizarre.
Yeah,
it's such a bizarre time. It's a bizarre time because I've had it's difficult because you asked the question and I'll get into it.
Yeah. So first off, just so everybody kind of knows. I mean, to go through your resume would take the 45 minutes. So if we could just maybe hit the top kind of footnotes of the things that you've done in your career, kind of the highlights, just so people kind of know where you're coming from.
Lucasfilm, nominated for Emmy producer for Fox Sports, Uncanny X-Men, X-Men Gold, JLA, lots of comic book work, Hasbro toys, package illustrations for the Unleashed line, G.I. Joe. I even have a G.I. Joe with my face on it. Lots of G.I. Joe work.
Was it Roadblock?
Yeah, no. I'm a guy called Burnout.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that.
I got dreadlocks.
I remember that.
Star Wars, lots of comic book work, Flash, Spider-Man. I just finished doing a Spider-Man run. I'm the current artist on Spawn. I just took over Spawn for working with Tom McFarlane on that. We've got the pages right on my desk as we speak, here, like this piece of paper right here. Just working. Always done some cool stuff. Just fun stuff, man. I've done probably 400 books in my life, lots of different titles. Just lots of work. I've been doing a lot of cool stuff. I just finished my car for Lady Death, but I would never do work with them. But they called us, gave me a sweet deal, so I said okay. It's just one of those things. I've been very fortunate to be working a lot of cool stuff over the course of the years. Lots of stuff behind me on that wall. Seems like it's a lot of stuff I've done. Toy packaging, illustration work for Lucasfilm, work to different products. So bed sheets, pillowcases, like all that. Just lots of stuff. Just lots of stuff.
Yeah, and I know that it's funny because I was talking to a friend today. I told him you were going to be on. And he started just listing your whole. He's like 10th Muse, like he was digging deep. He was like, he went real deep. I was like, man, I learned how to color on that book. Like I remember coloring a couple frames on that book.
Yeah, I don't even mention 10th Muse in my portfolio.
It's great.
That's not even. I wouldn't even tell anybody that because I have to explain what it is.
Yeah,
that's so a deep cut.
That's a deep cut, man. Deep cut. So what was it like growing up? And you and I are from the same hometown, Mississauga, even the same sort of area. But what was it like with your mom and your pops? And I named one of my D&D characters that I play on stream after your dad, Crichton, because I always loved that name.
I thought that. I think he goes by Lionel. Obviously, that's what he likes. But I think Crichton was a crazy cool name. I thought, my goodness, if my name was Crichton, I'd be like, I'm Crichton. God dang it.
Yeah.
But, So it was. We could go. Okay, so my parents were not interested in comic books and superheroes and that kind of stuff. I knew I was in trouble because I was before I moved. So maybe I was grade three, and there was like I said, Dad, could you draw Superman? And he drew 3 circles, and I went, what is this? And it was Superman, and I went, not a snowman. Superman. And he was like, and he went, like threw down the pencil and was like, that's the best I got, right? And I was like, I knew that I was on my own after that.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, okay. So it was one of those. I was just really weird, but I just had a love for it. I had a love for it. And my mother was a teacher, and she nurtured. She saw that in her students, so she definitely nurtured that in me. And definitely, my dad was sort of like, well, whatever you want to do, go knock it out. But my mom was very academically inclined, but she definitely was understood that I had a love for it, so she nurtured that. But my mom told me early on about her own situation, which is, and this is kind of going back to what this kind of discussion could be about. Was my mom, when she was in grade 7, was taken aside and told that she wasn't very intelligent and that she should probably go get a vacation. Not you're not. This is for academics, high school and stuff.
Yeah.
And my mom ended up being a teacher and teaching for 37 years. So, I remember that story was burned in my mind like my whole life about, people telling you can't do things. And then she ends up doing the same job as her, which I find amazing. And being a beloved teacher for as many years as she did it. When she retired, there was some like 2,000 people showed up to her retirement. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. How many lives she had touched. Like the Red Nails comic book store owner, wife or girlfriend was in my mom's class. You know what I mean? Like it's just weird energy around just things like that. So I remember from an early age that I had to work harder, had to be more than just the average, whatever everyone else would be. You had to be a little bit better because it was going to be more difficult. However, I didn't understand what that meant. I just knew that was instilled in me. But as I got older, I realized what she meant was the color of my skin is going to be prohibitive and it's going to be difficult. You know, I have two crazy dogs, so watch
It's
out.
all good. It's all good. I know.
So,
It's all good.
we have a new dog. We took a dog from a shelter.
Aw.
And she's not used to everything. She's like, what is everything? What is this? Right. So and she's a bit of protector, and she's a wiener dog, so she's about this big. So it's kind of fun. But so I remember that was always ingrained in me that we had to do things tougher. It was going to be more difficult. But I didn't really understand what that meant. I was like, oh, I'll be better than everybody. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But that's not really what she meant. She bought me my first comic book, which was Black Panther, and he was fighting the KKK. And I was young, but I didn't understand what it meant. But she just bought the book based on how she thought I would like the character. She saw Black, she probably bought it. She did not read the book. Thank God she didn't read it beforehand. Otherwise, I would never would have got that book in my hand. But I read it and I was just like, who are these guys in these white hoods? Like, what the hell is it? What's happening here?
Yeah.
And it was my first really introduction into literature that sort of went after those very difficult subjects. I didn't know what I was looking at. I was maybe 7 or 8, right?
Yeah.
Just I looked at the artwork, Billy Graham's artwork, beautiful artwork. Now it's classified. That issue that I got happens to be one of the classic Black Panther stories of all time, and not even knowing, just by chance.
Yeah,
I think it was number 19. So I remember going, "Wow, this is beautiful, but what's going on here? There's a deeper meaning here." So I didn't really think of it at the time, but I kept trying to find people like me, who looked like me, who wanted to draw, and I couldn't find any. Everywhere I went to school, I went to school in Mississauga, Malton area. Wasn't very many people like me. A couple guys, a guy named Patrick, and some other people that were drew, but we were kind of discouraged from doing this as a profession. We were, sort of like, maybe it was the fact that we were Canadian, maybe, but it's mostly along the facts that these artists are not people of color.
Yeah.
I think people, and then I said, well, I'm going to do this. I love to draw, so I love drawing Star Wars. And Star Wars was very important to me. I had Star Wars, and I like drawing all the characters and vehicles and all these things. Not ever really thinking about the deeper meaning to all these things. I just kept drawing what I liked. I liked cartoons. I liked G-Force cartoon. I liked Star Wars. I liked, Spider-Man, X-Men, all these things. But it wasn't really like I was doing it for any reason other than how we all do it. We just love it. Not realizing that, I was kind of a lone wolf, doing these things by myself. No one really who looked like me was trying to do these kinds of things. So, fast forward, I get pretty good at it, and then I end up going to art college. And I said I want to draw comics. There wasn't a single teacher that sort of gave me a pat on the back saying that's what you should do. They're all kind of, you got a lot of talent. You shouldn't draw comics.
Yeah, draw bowls of fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, draw bowls of fruit. And that's all. And I remember going, how crazy that is. But that's what I was told. And then I got a job at Marvel Comics. Did a portfolio, got a job at Marvel Comics, and the first job I did was Excalibur, and I was maybe mid-20s, like mid-24, something like that, and that was my first job, not realizing what a big deal that was. I just thought, I got a job at Marvel Comics, that's where they make the books. Woo-hoo. And then you realize, no, you're part of the X-Men group. Even though you're one of the lower X-Men groups, you're still part of the X-Men group.
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that mean? That means that there was some rumor, I don't know if the exact stats, but I remember the stats being something like of the main books that Marvel was selling, you guys were responsible for, there's like 9 or 10 books that were responsible for 56% of the revenue of the entire company came out of these 9 books. Yeah. I mean, like all the money came out of these 9 books, right? I happened to be the 9th. so I wasn't part of the top, but it was still part of the X-Men group. And it forever sort of shaped who I was as an artist. But then I started going to my first conventions, and this is when I started to really realize, well, things are different. So I get up there, I go to my first show, and I get off the airplane, and the guy's got a sign there and it says Lashley on it. I walk up to him, and he looks me dead in the face and goes, "Can I help you?" And I went, "Well, I'm Ken Lashley." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And it was like this moment of like, no, I'm looking for the artist that draws Excalibur. And I go, yeah, well, I'm the artist. You know what I mean? And it's like this moment where, I guess, like you're sometimes you're just reminded that you don't belong.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and you're like, oh, and then I always had the talent, I think, to be one of the top guys. I thought I always had the talent. I always looked at the other people's work and go, I could probably do that. But it just took longer for me, man. It just took longer. It just took longer than it should have. But then again, everything happens for a reason, right? So I'm a 25-year overnight success. You know what I mean? So that's what happens, right? So there are times where I've sat in rooms where people don't think much of me being in the room, and then I always say, well, someday you'll see. You
Yeah.
know, I'm just going to get good enough that it won't make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's weird when you become that kind of guy where people sort of classify you as whatever they call me and call me whatever title they give me, superstar, whatever crap they give you. I had when I first got in the business, I wanted to be famous. I really wanted to be like I wanted to be that guy that everyone said, "Oh man, he's the man." And it was taking real long, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so I guess that's not going to be my future. So I'll just be the best artist I can be and just keep rolling." And I just started just working on stuff and not care about being, you chase those pursuits when you're young and adult, immature, and then you realize just be the best artist you can. And then all of a sudden, I started getting accolades, but my mind had shifted, so I could care less.
Yeah.
I could care less about, I got offered. I mean, I get into fights with people over things because they want me to be a certain way now. Or like, oh, you're be this way, and I went, no, I don't want to be that way. I have been doing this for a long time, and I've met you before 3 times, in fact, and you didn't talk to me 3 times in a row, and now all of a sudden you think I belong, so now we want to be friends.
Yeah.
Like that, it's just one of these weird things that happens
Yeah.
when you've decided that you want to be something more than just, being whatever the hot guy or just being a good artist. Just be a good artist. You don't worry about what other people think of you. You just worry about the work. So when they say, "Oh, come have dinner with this guy," I go, "No, I don't want to have dinner with that guy. I could care less." And he's not going to care if I use the proper fork or say the right thing. He's going to only care about how well does Ken draw,
Yeah.
and that's how well a good creator is he, and that's all I concern myself with.
Yeah.
So that's really the problem with my career in the sense of I've it's been tough because the focus was so much like I see all these guys, and I'll be honest with you, who I just thought were just straight trash.
Yeah.
And they were getting so much more books than I were, and I just kept thinking there must be some other factor. Then I'll just get better, and I just keep working at it and pushing myself and pushing myself and pushing myself until there's no denying that I belong.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where I'm at the last 5 or 6 years now. I'm kind of like, now what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't say I can't draw as good as this guy.
Yeah.
And Jim Lee was kind enough to ask me to be part of his group when they had the auction.
Mm-hmm.
And I threw down, right? And it was pretty sweet. And I think a lot of people were kind of shook. They were kind of like, "Oh shoot, this guy could hang." And I saw some of the comments, and it was pretty funny. And some of them were, "Oh, Jim, you did a nice piece." And Jim had to say, "No, that's Ken." You know what I mean? And I it was like a badge of honor. Like, let's go, right? And it was cool. I mean, Jim's such a nice guy, and he's been really cool with me, So I can't be mad at that. But I can get irritated with how long it took.
Yeah.
I can. But then a part of me says, well, if it means I got to cheapen any part of my journey and I don't get here with the same way, then I guess that's fine. But there was some times where I just thought, these guys can't keep me doing this crappy book forever, or they can't just, I tell you when it changed. Sketch duels. I think that was, I've never told anyone this, but it's the sketch duels that changed the narrative, because they took their best guys and we did sketch duels in Toronto, and I blew those guys out of the water, and they were like, "Whoa!" And I was like, and the editors were there watching it and like, "Whoa!" One of our artists beat our Batman artist in a Batman challenge. I was like,
yeah,
right?
I guess, it comes down, I guess, to creating great content until you can't be ignored. Like, don't give them a choice.
Yeah, there's no denying the fact that now I am doing okay. I could drop pretty decent.
Yeah, you're all right.
there's no doubt that I can do okay.
Oh,
man. What I mean? And I think that's but it's tough, man. There are times where it wasn't always like this, and I was always, it was so strange because it's just like they're in a different business than you are. Like they talk about things in a different way, and you would see the work and go, "What are they looking at, man? Like I'm looking at the same things." Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to get better at this, and I got to get better at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Tonight we're raising money for Black Girls Code,
Okay.
And so all the money that is coming through bits, I think we're in the hundreds right now already.
That's sick.
Actually, more than that, almost $500 already we've raised. Black Girls Code is all about empowering
Okay.
young Black women and girls
Ah,
in the ways
great.
of technology and all that kind of stuff. So
Oh my goodness, I love that. That's great. That's amazing. I
our
have two daughters, man. I got two daughters, so I anything to inspire them to do things against the status quo. Because let's be honest, what I've chosen is against the status quo, right?
yeah.
So, I love
Yeah.
that. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. No, and I was gonna. That was my next question. Is the struggles that you've come through, that your mom came through, that now maybe your girls go through. How has that changed? Like in the world that your girls live in, has it changed from when you were growing up? And what are the sorts of things that your generation has kind of laid the how has it changed? How has it evolved? Has it evolved even?
Uh, um. Wow. I think I talked about this like 3 days ago with my daughters, talking about how their lives are just different because of what I do and the people that they met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they just the like I'm friends with Reggie Hudlin, who directed the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, we go places. And George Eliot is a friend of mine, and he makes cartoon series, and she wants to intern there. She could do it in a heartbeat. Like just the people that I've met, their lives will be so much. The barrier of entry will be easier for them.
Yeah.
That won't be easy.
No.
It'll be easier, right?
Yeah.
So they know more people. They can still do their mess up and do their things,
Yeah.
but they'll be able to meet people. They want to meet somebody, who, Sideshow. I was talking to Sideshow, doing some cool stuff with Sideshow. If I want to meet somebody at Marvel or DC, and I was at Dan DiDio's office like 3 weeks before, a month, 2 months before he was let go, and we're still close. And talking to Jim Lee on a personal basis. I mean, there's just things that they don't know. They meet people like, I don't know, a good friend of mine, Adam Glass, who's executive producer on tons of shows, the CSI shows, and lots of other things. And he has a show with Netflix right now, and he's like, hey man, anytime, let's talk, or Newberry, or all these people who just know how to, who just are in the business because of what I've done or who I've met. So my kids don't have to go through a lot of that. They'll make their own mistakes, and I encourage them to make them. You just got to get out there and make them. I made lots of mistakes, and that's just life. But I think it's they're females, which is, people don't give a lot of respect to that, which is ridiculous. But that's what happens. Oh, they're not creative or as creative as us, or somehow it's still that old boys network. We still do, a lot of guys do most of the stuff and lead. But I think that they live in a day and age now where anybody can be anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, I never thought there would ever be a black president. Like, what are you kidding me? And now they that's part of their, like, there's been, like, in their lives, the president, most of their lives, there's been a black president, which is bizarre, but that's their truth, right? And the fact that Barack Obama follows me on Twitter is weird. You know what I mean? Like, that's, my daughter said, oh, the real account of Barack Obama follows you on Twitter. And I go, get out of here. And she pulls it up, and that's wild. That's wild, right? Like, the former president of the United States follows me on Twitter. Like, that's just cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Probably a million other people, but I'm one of them, so I feel good, right? But that's what I'm saying. You just have to look, like, it's just a different. Because of the people around me, like yourself, who've helped me get to where I need to go, and helped me come in the middle of the night and done work when I need stuff done, helping me out. All those people have helped me build where I am today. Everybody. So it's not just, oh, Ken Lashley's this, and I do this all by myself. But that's impossible. Everyone has a network of people around them. So that's what's going to happen for my daughters. They'll be able to get past a lot of the stuff that would prohibit them that would have prohibited them. They prohibited me, But they're past that. They'll have other challenges.
Yeah.
Other challenges.
And it's, I guess the sad thing is that every time we feel like we've made a step forward, sometimes it feels like we're making 2 steps back.
No, I find that interesting when you say things like that, but I don't believe that's true.
Good.
I believe that every time we make a step forward, it's just a step forward. It just becomes a wider road. So you take a step forward, oh, there's more opportunity. So the wider gets bigger. Take another step forward, oh, when it gets more opportunity, so it gets bigger. It just there's never a step back. It's just you could get distracted by the bright lights on more paths. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I
like
think.
that. I like that.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but I believe that we do a lot of things for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? And today, even this last few days has been very difficult because I know that there's a certain section of people that follow me just for my artwork and don't want to hear me talk about anything political.
Right.
But it's important that I speak to it. And there's people who sent me messages and called me a sheep because I put up a black box today. I said nothing. I didn't even say anything. I just put up the black box, called me a sheep. And a part of me goes, cool. Like, you don't know my journey.
No.
And nor do I care. Like, if you want to call me, you call me whatever you want to call me. I've been called worse.
Yeah.
But I just don't care. I've earned the right to speak my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So good, dude. I mean, I like I said, I was able to kind of witness the inside and the frustrations at times, those late nights in the studio where it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up.
Well, you just get mad, but then you go, I think if I was a different, I don't know. I don't think I would have been as successful at it if I didn't have that in me to sort of go, I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
Right. I'm very competitive. So part of me was going, oh yeah? Okay. Okay, cool. All right. You think you're better than me? All right. You want to give that guy the job? All right. It's a great thing when somebody calls you up for a cover that doesn't like you because they know they'd rather just Ken's the man. I got to give it the job. I got to hire. And then they know they have a bad relationship, and they know that maybe they shortchanged you a check 8,000 years ago, but you still remember.
Yep.
Or they didn't pay you, or you had to go threaten them, and all this other stuff.
Yep.
And for them to call you up, and they know there's history, and I'll tell them straight, hey, I'm cool. I don't hold a grudge, but I remember.
Yeah.
And you do the work because you're kind, because you're just trying to let things go because you can't hold on to that stuff. And they know, and you get paid in like 4 hours. Here's my invoice, and 4 hours later, it's paid. And you're like, oh, they learned something. Like some guy fixed in their situation.
Yeah.
But that's also me learning, that you can't hold on to things. I've reached out to some people that I didn't like, that were just not good people. Just me, and there's so much. It seems so small. Compared to what's going on in the world. I've been. Like I told a story today on my Instagram, not on my Instagram, on my Facebook page, about me being on breakfast television, and being how excited I was, and it was how exciting it was to be on breakfast television as Canadian across the country, and on there drawing live and showing my Lucasfilm work and my Star Wars and my all my work and the skateboard decks and drawings and packaging for Hasbro and comic books, and I got 2 segments on that show. It was like 10 minutes. It was awesome. And then that same day, driving a kid home, driving a couple guys home to their house and getting pulled over by the police because I was driving a nice truck. Like, that happened on the same day. You know what I mean? And, because he wanted to see who was driving this nice truck with the TV screens in the back. Had no reason to pull me over, but followed me for 2 miles and then pulled me over, made up something I was speeding. And that's, dude, I saw you for 2 miles. You followed me for 2 miles. So the first day I've been driving was a black man. I understand. And then he made up some story, looked in the car. His other guy was looking in the car, gave me some bogus ticket. I fought the ticket, and then I got this thing in the mail saying, "Oh, your ticket has been dismissed because the officer misfiled it for you to go." What I didn't tell what I'll tell here was, after I got pulled over and after I fought the ticket and won, I was driving home in Mississauga. I think I just dropped you off.
Probably.
I just dropped you off. I turned the corner from your house in a black truck, and I got pulled over. The guy pulled me over, and I go, "What is going on here?" And he goes, "Oh, took my information, came back to the car, handed me my information, have a good night." And I said, "Is there a problem? Why did you pull me over?" I said, "No, just sorry about that, Mr. Lashley. Go on your way."
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, I was going to, like, why did you pull me over in the first place? But I guess I was in the system as a guy probably
Yeah.
You know, it might be more difficult to press charge against this guy. This guy's the kind of guy that we probably don't want to.
Yeah.
He's going to fight this.
Yeah.
And it'd be difficult. I guess more difficult.
Yeah.
I'm less of a target, I guess.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have to go through all that.
No.
But you do. And it's tough. There are some days I just want it to be fair. I just want it to be fair. I don't want to have to be stopped on my front doorstep. I got stopped. This thing by my house. People don't want to. This is so bizarre. I'm talking about a lot of different things.
It's all good.
But one of the things I got stopped. I live in a fairly nice part of town. You've been to my house a few times.
Many times.
We went to Rib Fest, and when I first bought the house, I didn't realize Rib Fest was around the corner from my house.
So good, dude.
I was like, "What's this? What is this Rib Fest thing? This is crazy. Rib Fest. What is Rib Fest?
Yeah.
The Canada's largest rib festival is around the corner from my home, like a block. Oh my God, this is the greatest house ever." I went out to get something to drink because you just can't have ribs, right? And I came back, and I pulled into my driveway. Woo! Cop pulls right behind me. Hey. You can't park there. Somebody's house.
Come on.
100%. And I was like, yeah, it's my house. Like, I live here. And he's like, oh, what? This is your house? I go, yeah, the black guy lives here. Just that moment of like, even when I bought a house down by the lake, I don't belong here. You know, I don't belong here, but that's okay. But see, I can't get mad at those kinds of things. You know, it says more about them than it does me. Like I can't let that seep into my soul. Right. Yeah. It's difficult.
Yeah.
But I can't get mad at that. They don't know any better or that's their experience or whatever.
Yeah.
I went to school with a girl when I got into OCA, Ontario College of Art. And I was the first Black person she met. She was 20.
Wow.
That's like you think about that. It's just crazy, but that's where she was from, and you can't get mad at her for not knowing.
Yeah.
She was always like, oh, and then I was a fairly decent artist, so she was like always so impressed by my work.
Yeah.
But she confided in me. That was the first person. I'm the first person of color that she physically met.
Yeah.
And how was that? And you can't get mad at her for that. That's just her. That's her experience. Just like I can't get mad at some of the things that happen in my life and these police officers. Like it infuriates me. I can't tell you how angry I feel, but at the same time, we're not gonna get to that point where it's all good if we're hostile with each other. I want to be angry. I want to say some stuff. I want to cuss and swear and get into this person's face. But how does that benefit us long term? It doesn't benefit us long term. Yeah. There are people who are going to be militant, and I applaud that's the way they want to do it. That's fine. Yeah. I think that I would probably be better off because I'm a very confrontational person, and I know that once I start down that path, I like to play football. I coach high school football. I believe in conflict. I like that stuff. Yeah. So it's part of how I draw comic books. It's part of I tap into that part when I'm drawing punches and things that I like that kind of stuff. But I don't think in this instance it's beneficial. I think we have to be smarter than that. Yeah. You know, I think we have to care about one another as if they were family. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I think about like me and my wife, she's Irish and she has different experiences from me. She tries to empathize with me, but there are certain things that she just has no experience in. She's incredibly intelligent and incredibly smart, her empathy is enormous, but she just life experience she just doesn't have in that way. So she says things to me sometimes, and I go, whoa, we can't. Oh no, I can't. No, we can't do that. And it's just the way it is. Going to a certain comic, but she's taught me to have. Not everyone is a problem. Everyone is trying based on the skill sets that they have. Yeah. So you can't get mad at somebody for not knowing what they don't know. Yeah. Like I can't get mad at people for that. I remember I was coaching a football game this year. I went to a team. I was coaching my daughter's high school because she shamed me into it. She said, "You better help us." So I said I would help them, and they hadn't won a game in 3 years. So I went there, and the first game I didn't yell at the kids at all. I just watched them play. And my wife was like, "Wow, you didn't say anything. They lost." And I said, "Yeah, well, I can't get mad at them for what they don't know." Right? And then we started the next week. We won our first game because I made some changes. I watched them play. What's best. We won, and we finished the season 4-2. got to the semifinals. We were winning at halftime. We're close to making the next step is to win it all. But you have to go through those steps, right? It's not a championship year the first year you arrive. You got to get there. So just like us, there's so much dialogue that we have to have before we get there.
Yeah.
We can't just say, oh, I want everything to be cool. Everyone's going to be fine. There's cultural biases. When you go into a meeting at an animation company and there's 12 people sitting around the table and not one of them is a woman and not one of them is a person of color, you got a problem, right? Like I've been in meetings where we wanted to design a cartoon that we all know very, very well, from the 70s that has a bird motif. And I was sitting in the meeting and this is my childhood. I get a chance to design this show. Yeah. And I'm sitting in this meeting and they're all talking and literally they told me what the show was about. And I sat there and I go, what year is this? And they're like, oh, I said, you what? Like, it was the 70s when they made that show.
Yeah.
So the political climate was this.
Yeah.
You can't make a show with 5 white kids now. Like you just gotta give you gotta sort of mix it up, man.
Yeah.
Just mix it up, and I'm not saying you make them all this, but just you have to sort of represent the people who are going to buy your things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a black guy sitting in a room designing your show. You might want to think about outside the box here a little bit. I'm not saying this, but you have to open the dialogue and start talking about true creation and truly inclusion and all those things. Women, female, like all those things. Every team has 3 guys, 1 girl.
Yeah.
I can tell you right, I close my eyes, there's a big guy, a small guy, a smart guy, a pretty girl. I would say it's just like they do these archetypes. That's the 70s. Yeah. Let's start bring this into the new age and start thinking outside the box. And those kinds of things are important. Yeah. Inclusion is important.
Yeah. The a conversation I've heard a lot of lately is, especially when it comes to like entertainment or content creation, is the diversity versus talent. And it's like, how important is diversity in a organization, and how important is the talent, and how do you balance that? And like you said, you got to a spot where you couldn't be ignored. You honed your craft to a point where they couldn't ignore you. That you were the best that you could possibly be, and you're incredible, and we all know that. I know that. I'm your biggest fan, but I guess what's the lesson to be learned there from yourself going into, and people who want to be included, people who want to be involved, who maybe aren't there yet?
It is gut-wrenchingly difficult to know that you have the ability to belong and are not getting it.
Yeah.
And it takes, I don't know how I did it, to be honest with you. There are times where I just said, I hate these people. I just can't stand. Why are they? Oh, you know what I mean? It's just. But then I go. Then you close your eyes. You think about, okay. All right. Just worry about what you can control. Worry about what you can control, which is the work.
Yeah.
Right. Like, do your best work at all times, and find an industry that you can excel at that doesn't care. And I tell you what mine was Hasbro. It was Hasbro. Hasbro embraced me from the get. Hasbro was like, this stuff is wicked.
Yeah.
Michelino Polino is like a brother to me. Do you know what I mean? Because he just said, oh man, this stuff is sick. And it wasn't any other nonsense.
Nope.
It was just the work.
They just opened the pipeline and that was it.
That was it. And then finding out we did a lot of work for them, man. And it was stupid, but it was like, and then as he grew up the ladder, and he told me, and then we had, he took me for dinner last year. We met at the hotel that I was staying, because I went to Rhode Island Comic Con. That's where they are. And he told me something. I don't care if I'm going to say it now, because he's going to see this later. I'll probably show it to him later.
Yeah.
He said that he's now in charge of the brand of Star. He's in charge of like 5 different brands of Star. He's one of the head hunters there. And he told me that he would not have made it if he didn't meet me, because the amount of work that we did and the way we delivered the work and made him look like a star all the time. He just was like, this guy, you made me look good at every corner, every turn. So it was so they kept promoting me, and now he's running the show. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Now he's saying, whenever you want to make a toy line, can you come to me? Because that's what we built. And you're going to see some Sammer. We'll leave that alone. But what I'm saying is, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You built that. But when someone tells you that, you think of all the struggles you've had to get there. You know, and it's just that's what happens. If you just keep at it and keep working at it, it's so difficult. It's hard to say because it is an impossible task to say someone to see what you want to be and where you could go and watch you not get there year after year, and then just say, okay, I'm going to get there eventually, because you have to believe in you. You have to believe. And I remember when the first time I got Uncanny X-Men, I had dreamt of that book my whole life. I said, oh my God, I would love to be an Uncanny X-Men. And I had just said, it's never going to happen for me.
Yeah. And
I was okay with that. I had to come to terms that I was okay with that. I wasn't going to get the book ever. And then I was working on something at DC, and they called and asked me if I wanted to do Uncanny X-Men. It's like the universe had said, you've deserved this now. And so when I did the first pages of Uncanny X-Men, they were pretty crazy.
I remember.
And they were like, what is happening here? And I was like, I wanted this job my whole life.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
you know, I don't know.
And then we have about 7 minutes or left or so, but bringing it full circle, the first comic book that you drew was Black Panther. To the point where, sorry, the first comic book that you had as a kid that your mom bought you.
No. My first one that my mom bought me was Black Panther.
Okay.
I had some other random books that I got from. There's a guy out there I know, and it was Jim. I don't know his last name because we were in grade 6 and 7 together. Yeah. He must hate my guts. I know he's up there somewhere. He hates my guts. I'll tell you why. Because I went to his house when we were like grade 7, I think. And he had all these books, and I had all these random books. And then we started to trade. We traded. And I traded him a bunch of all my collection. And you know what I got from him?
What?
Like 12 X-Men John Byrne books.
Oh.
Like 12. Like his whole run, like half the run. They were love copies, but I had like the greatest comic books of history. I got the whole run, right? So I was like, reason why I'm gonna reach over here, I'm gonna show you something.
Yeah.
Now that I'm professional, I have all the books again.
Oh, in
like mint condition.
Oh yes.
I traded for a drawing. So I need 108 to 143, please.
Oh right. Man.
Yeah, but I have them all. I have so Jimmy, if you're out there, I'm not that sorry because you got some books too.
Yeah, no, but I think it paid off for you. I think in the end,
Jimmy's probably going my $200 books, Ken.
But full circle. Your mom buys you Black Panther, and then you get the opportunity to draw Black Panther.
Yeah.
And
it was weird.
What was that like?
I just was like, I cannot believe I'm drawing Black Panther. But of course, like my career, Ken, you want to draw Black Panther? Oh my God, I get to draw Black Panther. I get the script. What? Black Panther gets hurt in the first page, and then it's his sister wearing the suit. I go, oh.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah. But I was like, I was so close. And then it was like 5 issues of his sister running around the suit, and she didn't get the suit on until like issue 4. I was like, oh, God,
yeah,
that's my life, right? Like, hey, kid, you want to draw Superman? Well, it's somebody else. Oh, you want to draw Batman? Well, Robin's now Batman. I was like, what? It's like, you want to draw X-Men? Yeah. Well, Colossus can't turn metal, and Nightcrawler he's got a boy band haircut. What? It was like, just like, what are you talking about here? Like, that's just good. That's just my life. But I make it my own. When I did X-Men, Wolverine had this. Old Man Logan had a trench coat. I never told anybody. Don't tell anybody I'm saying this. He had a trench coat, and I thought this trench coat is stupid. So every time I drew the issue, like he would get it torn off his back. Every time, I would just draw him like for no reason. What even script? He was just like,
yeah.
because I didn't want to draw the trench coat. I just thought the trench coat it didn't make any sense, right? So,
so
I never
good.
got to draw him in costume. I just took it off. He's fighting this demon, and I go, oh yeah, the demon tears off the trench coat, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
So I did that all the time, every issue. Even Nightcrawler's hair was supposed to be like like a coif, straight hairdo, and I go, no, his hair is curly. So as soon as I would get my pages, like my arc, I would just like, boop, his hair's curly again.
Yeah, it's so
like,
good.
They'd be like, oh, what happened to his hair? I go, well, why? What do you see?
I don't understand. It was humid.
It's curly. It's humid.
It was humid that day.
Humid. That's all good.
Oh, that's good. One line that you tell me all the time. I use this line often, more often than many in my life, is the line your dad used to tell you, which was, those that can't hear must feel.
Yeah, those who can't hear must feel.
Yes.
That to me all the time. And I said, what do you can't hear, can't feel?
Yeah.
So in other words, when someone talks to you,
and
they're not listening to you, then they gotta feel it one way or the other. So just like when I would say stuff like, I remember one time I got into a fight with a DC editor. He was so rude to me. And he just was like obnoxiously rude, and even put in the comic book. I was working at Wildstorm at the time, and he asked me to come over, and I was sort of like, I don't know if I can because I was busy.
Yeah.
And then he had to wait for some pages because I was working on Wetworks.
Yeah.
And he put in the book Lord of Patience. It was actually typed in the book, Dan Rasper, Lord of Patience, under his title.
Wow.
And I went, and then we got into a fight, and he said, you're unprofessional. I said, why? Because I care about the guys in my studio. I don't want to leave them hanging. I said, dude, whatever. And he goes, you'll never work at DC. And I went, I'll work with them after you get fired, because talent is talent.
Yeah.
And then he got fired about a year later, and I ended up drawing Superman. So I guess that's life.
So true, eh? So true.
That's how life works.
And I'll tell you that today, it's taken the world to get to where we need to get to through all this. But today, scrolling through my Instagram, and the ads were still there, but like just a sea of black. Just a sea of black, dude. And I think that people are starting to feel, if that makes sense. Like, we've been hearing it for years.
Yeah.
But I think that as small as it is, I think that
not small.
Yeah.
Not small. It's powerful as a person of color to watch.
What's that like? What was it like today?
Powerful. I don't talk about it because I think people don't care. So I just go, I don't want to talk about this, my blackness, whatever, because people just, you're kind of actually, what are you complaining about? And I was like, well, I could tell you lots of stories, but I don't complain because I do have a charmed existence. I do, but I earned it.
Yeah.
And I did it the hardest way possible. Yeah, I didn't do that. I wasn't the young phenom kid. I had the talent. I could sit next to the guy who was supposed to be the guy and draw and take him on.
Yeah.
And people say, wow, he's really good. And then I would say, well, let's put him on Black Panther.
Yeah.
Let's put him on, this beast stuff here. This other guy gets a chance to draw like the latest mini series. And when I got a chance to draw Superman Doomed, it was on.
Yeah.
It was like, and it was so good that they even said I was supposed to launch the miniseries for the summer, and then the other people would do their books, and then had another artist finish the thing. Because my book was so strong, they said, we need you to come back and bring it back home. But the book was done, so they asked me to redraw pages that were already in the pipeline, like redo this guy's book. And I wouldn't do it because I felt like this guy's going to open this book and go, what the heck? Yeah. Because they're not going to tell him, obviously. They're just going to say, I'll redo your stuff. Ken actually did it. Making friends.
That's great.
That's life.
All right. We've been posting all of your socials kind of throughout in the chat, so people can check you out. But if you could just kind of let us know where we can find your work and what you're working on right now.
I'm at Instagram is @LedKiller, which is funny. Facebook is the same. It's open. It's an open Facebook, so you can come and see what I'm working on. I'm working on Hearthstone and some stuff for that. I'll show some stuff down the road.
Yeah.
I'm drawing issue. I was drawing issue 309 of Spawn. Now they moved it up to 308, and I'm from 0 to 8 on.
Yeah.
And I'm doing cut scenes for the new Marvel game through a place in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it, but everyone knows what I'm talking about. That's kind of where I'm working at right now that I could talk about. I also have a cartoon series sort of in development. I'm talking to my friends who are directing a show at Hulu, so about something, and it's fun. It's fun. I'll do some cool stuff.
So great, dude. Well, you know how much I love you, man. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
And Hasbro.
And Hasbro, always.
Hasbro would be bad if I didn't mention the Hasbro G.I. Joe stuff.
Yeah, it's perpetuity.
all the new G.I. Joe line was I did a promotional drawing for 3 promotional drawings for every figure, and then the actual box art for Roadblock.
Amazing.
Thanks, can't complain.
Amazing. Well, dude, you know how much I love you, man.
We
go time without talking, but it's like it's always like old times and
old men with grown up daughters,
right? And gray hair. Look at all the gray we've got in our beards.
I don't know what you're talking about. I shaved mine. I don't know what you're talking about.
But I owe you a lot, man, and I just wanted the opportunity to. Well, yeah, but you know I love you, and much love. Keep it up, dude, and let's do this again sometime. This is great.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun.
Appreciate
I'll show you some of the stuff. I'll show you some of the stuff.
Dude, you should come play sometime at our table. That'd be hilarious. You should come guest play.
I don't know anything about
I know. That would be the best experience ever. It would be so funny.
I don't know about it. I think I don't know. I did some Vivian. I did the Vivian Reed. Is that her name? The Arrow.
Yeah.
I did her package art.
Yeah.
Maybe I should give that away to somebody here in your stream.
Dude, honestly, we're on the official D&D channel, a Twitch channel every week. That would be an incredible giveaway, and we could even raise some money for charity.
Money. Yeah, you know what? I will 100% do that. I will 100% do that.
That would be amazing.
I will give that cover away.
Oh, buddy, that means a lot.
It's sitting here, and it's in a binder somewhere, so I need to find it first, and then I'll definitely do that.
Thanks, brother. All right, man, hang in there. Love you. When all this is over, we gotta hang out.
I would say Ribfest, but that's been canceled.
Oh, I won't even talk about it.
I know it's sad for me.
We'll have to get some burgers or something.
Sounds like a plan.
Or some lasagna. Your mom makes a mean lasagna.
But unfortunately, I'm not sharing. So.
As is, she brings one for you and one for everybody else.
You should just remember what you said, what it used to taste like, and that's.
Oh,
I admit it, when I was mad when she was sharing it with you guys. I was like, "What are you doing? Why are you letting these guys touch any of this stuff?"
Oh yeah.
Cut them a smaller slice, Mom. Cut them a smaller slice. A smaller slice.
Oh, good times, brother. Good times.
What's up, baby?
All right, man. Love you, baby. Talk to you, and we'll chat soon.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Peace.
Bye. Bye, everyone.